Well, hello. Shawn Banasick has partnered with Stephen Jeffers, and now we have a new way to create our online sorting. And I figured I would make a video or videos that shows exactly what we have going on here. So I have blocked all of my many tabs that are open because that's how I roll in the land of the internet. But here is our starting point. You'll notice that it is on Netlify, and we have a multitude of different languages to choose from. I'll be choosing English, and there is both the Quince software and a configurator that allows us to set things up. So if we start here, right, it explains some of the basics. So we're going to start off right here is the Quince link. It's open source software, so I can pop over there and see a little more about the code itself, right? Notice that it does have a DOI number, so if you are going to use this software in your study, please make sure that you make the appropriate citations, right? If I click on, right, the steps, I just end up where I started from. So we'll go back to that tab. So there are some samples, right? We can still import our things into CADE or PQ method, whichever you prefer. Here are the citations. So here is the setup. So we click on the tab labeled 1 database above and follow the visual guide to set up our database service. We also need to download this zipped file, right? So I've already downloaded it once, but so I can come up here, see my Quince folder and extract it. For right now, I'm just going to leave it in my downloads folder and then I'll just copy it. So here is the actual folder. If we look at it, it looks a little bit like what you're familiar with as far as EQ web sort, right? There are settings. Again, this is exactly the same as EQ web sort in its formatting. So I'm just going to come up here and I'm just going to copy this and I'm just going to paste it on my rather busy desktop. All right, so now we're going to go back here. So we've done that. So now we have to come up here and we are going to click on database, right? So it's going to tell us how to set up everything and gives us some insight into security, right? Luckily here we have, right, the kind of security on Netlify that meets most countries' requirements. All right. So this is an online database. So we can click the orange button and we will download that. Well, maybe we will download it to, maybe I will go to my desktop. I will try to go to my desktop. Well, here, I will download it here for right now. Right, and it's, if you look, right, it's just basically an Excel file. So I'm just going to make my life a little easier over here. And I'm just going to create a folder where I'm going to put all these things. It always seems to be good to organize ahead of time. So, and there's my new, I'm going to have a folder, right? So this is for a specific study, so I'm just going to label it for set for student evaluation of teaching. Right, I'll come over here and go to my downloads. There's my header thing, so I'll drag that also into here. All right, come back. So we've done that, right? So now we have to create an account on Baserow.io. So we will go and do that. So sign up. And so here's my information I'm going to add in here. So I'm going to take a little time to pause. So here we are. Now I have a Baserow.io account. And just like all of these good things, we're just going to come back here, right? So we've already gone in and filled in the necessary information. So, and we're going to go back here. We're going to say skip for now. And so we have this. So we go over here. And so we come down and skip for now. And let's see what Shawn tells us to do next. So we have this information. We're going to skip that for now. We're skipping stuff. Skip for now. All right, so I'm going to create my first workspace. I could call it anything. And then I'm going to skip the next step. So I guess we'll call it that. Why not? I don't have any collaborators. Skip for now. All right, so we are ready to set up our database. So input your database name and click continue. So we're going to come over here, database name. All right, so we'll call it SET_Ramlow. Right, continue. And did we? Nope, we can't skip for now, so that must not be. All right, want to add your own. All right, input a table name. Any name's okay. You will delete this table later, and 3 row names. Any text is okay. Then click the continue button. All right, so we can do that. All right, so Q sort. Sort 1, sort 2, sort 3. And then continue. Oh, is it a skip for now? It is, and then we skip for now. And then we're gonna delete what we just created. That's fun. I don't want to start the tour. Can I not start the tour? Well, I guess we're going to tour. I'm not good at reading these things anyway. All right. Only a couple more to go. Yay. Got it. All right, so now we're going to come over here where there's the 3 dots, and we're going to delete it. So there. And And now we come back over here. So gonna click on database 1. Database 1. I don't need help. I have instructions. All right. Wait, what am I doing? All right. And a new table will appear. New table. I think that's what I want to do. Import a CSV file. All right. I want to do that. And then I'm going to choose my file. And it's on my desktop. Now I've lost my cursor. There it is. There's my, all right. So there we have it. And we'll add the table. Notice I'm not always good at, right, so we did that. We did that, add table, we're skipping ahead. All right, so now I should have this somewhere. Oh, here it comes. Yay, looks like it. Yes. Looks like that. Yep, looks like that. That's good. Click in the up-down arrows to the right of the workspace name, and then click on My Settings. Because it's almost time for Zoom queue, only to start again later on. Okay, we stopped last time setting up our database, but we need to get some information from our setup in order to move on to the next step. So we're going to come over here. Here's my workspace. And if I click my down arrow, notice it says My Settings. And now, let's see, I need to go down. We'll get our little screenshots. Right, and database tokens, right, so database tokens, so here are our tokens, and we click on the 3 dots. And we can see our information. So for instance, there's our token. So right now we'll stop there and we're going to come over here. Right, we're going to need our token, right? We're all complete. So now we're going to scroll up and we're going to go to general settings. So here we're going to upload our config file, which is in the settings folder, very much like EQ Web Sort. So we've loaded that in, and now we're going to come in here. This is just the default, right? So I'm going to call this SCTQ, right? I just copied my token. So there's my actual token. We'll make sure that that's right, because I might not have deleted it all. There we go. And now I need my database ID number. So I'm going to come over here and that's not what I want to do. Go back. Right. database tokens, show my database. So it's one of these, so let's go check what it's called. So it's the database ID number. So here is the ID number right here. So we're going to copy that. And we're going to put that in our config file. Oops. And fallback email address, so that's going to be my email. Am I going to do a second sort? No, not in this case. Right? Am I going to have a consent page? Yes, I am. I'm going to have help. It's going to be anonymous, so whoever has the link can access it. I'm going to keep all these things the same. I like to shuffle my statement order. We're going to leave these things just the way they are. So am I going to have a post sort? Yes. I'm not going to do the second positive sort column or negative, right? Going to have a back button. Are there post sort comments required? Yes. Right? And I'm going to have a questionnaire for some basic things. So here we're going to set up our survey part. So I'm just going to pause for a second and then we'll revisit. But this is going to be very much like EQ web sort. All right, so since we're going to add questions, I already have the questions I decided as far as demographics here. And so I'm just going to copy and paste them. This is for my IRB application that I haven't submitted yet. Right, so first question is, right, the ones above it are the standard ones. So what is your role or title within higher education? So I can just come down here, right, and it's going to be text, right? I want them to answer this. Right? And the label, so I need to call it something. That's how it'll be identified in my spreadsheet. So I'll just call it role, right? And then here is my question, right? My answer length is not going to be limited. I want them to answer. Certainly isn't restricted by numbers, so I'm going to add my question to my survey. So now I'm ready for my next question. So I'll come over here. What's your discipline? It's another, right, not customer service. This is from a slightly different, I like to copy and paste. So what's your discipline? Right, so now I come back over here and I'm going to call this discipline. And then, right, we're going to have our, oops, paste our question. Don't need the letter D. And then I'm going to leave everything the same, right? It's not limited, blah, blah, blah. We're all good. So we're going to add this question. And then we have another question. Oh, we have two more. How many years have you worked in higher education? So it's another, so we'll call it years. Now I expect this to be in some kind of numerical form. But I'm not going to restrict it to numbers only, mostly because people like to explain things on occasion. So, and I want them to do that, so we'll add that. And then we have another text kind of question, right? So we just want just some general things that if they want to comment about their opinion, right? So I'm just going to call this more, right? Because it's their chance to add some more information. Again, it's text. Scroll down, right? Notice that if I come down here, right, there are some default questions, right? A whole bunch of them. And then there's my questions. So we're just going to delete the ones that don't apply to us, right? So we're going to add this question. And now we're going to get rid of the default things that are just in the config file, right? So not looking for that, not looking for that. This is one of the reasons why you have the option of just starting with some config file that you've created before. You can always just copy and paste it into the settings folder. So I'm just deleting these questions that, again, don't. There we go. So now we're at our role, our discipline, our years, and our more. So we are good to go, right? And they should all be required. I don't see asterisks, but I know I clicked on yes here, so we should be good. So that's the end of this. So now we're ready to come up here and save our file, right? Oops, I don't think I saved it in the right place. Hold on. Oh yeah, no, it just went into a weird place. So I'm going to go to my desktop. That just happens to be where I have my folder. Those are some old ones. There's my SET study. Right. Settings. Gonna write my. All right, so now I've written over that and I'm ready to scroll up and go to the next thing, which happens to be statements. So just like before, we're gonna load our statements, right? We're in our settings, right? Oh, that's not, that's a weird thing. We're gonna have to change this, right? It just made config 1 instead. All right, so we're gonna do statements. And now we're gonna come down here. We can do some things with our statements. These are just the default ones. Oh, do we have to have numbers? Because I don't have numbers. We'll find out. Right, and I'm going to come over to my folder where I have my statements. I'm just going to copy them all. They do not have numbers, so we'll have to see if perhaps we have to add numbers later. But for right now, we won't worry about that. I don't want my users to see the numbers, but I want numerical identification. So, and that's the end of that. So now we're going to save our statements. And oh, it's our default, so we just want to get rid of that one. And yes, right over it. We're going to go and fix our other problem in settings. So this is the one I want. This is the original one. So I'm just going to delete it. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to change the name, get rid of that one. So I don't forget about that later. All right, so we've done that. And now we're going to go in and do what the QSort grid looks like. So I'm going to upload my map. And it's all laid out again, very much like EQ web sort. So I have my handy dandy spreadsheet open. Notice that I lay it out as far as the frequency up here. It makes it a little easier to format it. I also have calculated, right, what my minimum loadings are for later on when I'm doing analyzing, right? So this is the, I think, 0.05 and this is 0.01. So I usually go for 0.01, but that's a different thing to talk about. So we start at -5, so we got 4, 4, and then a bunch of 5s and a 6. And then it's the same on the other side. So we're going to come over here, whoops. And so we got, oops, no, I don't want to change the color. I want to do, oh yeah, so my tab key doesn't work, so that would be fun. 4. And then 5. Oh, that's 5, 5, 6, 5, 5, 5. Let's see over here. This is a 4, and this is a 4, and that's a 5. All right, and then it's so nice because we've uploaded our statements. It knows we have 52, and this is just our confirmation, right? I'm just going to leave these colors, as I don't really care, but I do have this, so I'll make this, right? And I'll do this. I'll make it the green. It doesn't really matter too much. Maybe over here I'll make it a little darker. Oh, that might be a little too dark. Right, wait, so we can play around with it a little bit. Just want to differentiate it with the others. Yeah, that seems good. Right? And we could have, right, headers only, and we could have no colors, but I kind of like the colors. And then here is our column labels. Right, so I am 5 to 5. Oh, we can have little pictures. I don't want emojis. I mean, we could do emojis. All right, so we need to decide. I don't want to use those, so I want to use sort numbers and I want to use sort text. But I don't really like this text, so I want it to be most unlike me and most like me. And we'll see if that works out okay. All right, so I think that includes everything. So now we'll save our map. And again, right, it wants to default to the other. So we'll just write over that. And now we're ready to do our user interface. Again, everything that's highlighted needs to be done. So we can do custom formatting in bold, and right, we can be fancy. So we're going to upload our language. So we could change our required setting or all settings. So I don't know what's all settings, so let's look at that. Multi-screen configurations. No, sir, thank you. So this just looks like just some basic things. Oh, here we go. Right, so here's my research consent. Right, so this is, again, just the default. Right, and I can, right, so if we remember our HTML, right, we can include things like this. This just means that, right, we have a return. This just means it's going to be in bold. So we'll try just copying and pasting. Right, so I have my recruitment information here. It's my default. I don't need this other information because I don't have my link yet. So I'll come over here and just paste it. So over here I could do some fancy things, but we'll just leave it like that. We'll worry if we have to do anything else. Right? All right. Just call it project. Oops, you acronym. So I use my formal button. And my institution always wants me to say, I am at least 18 and agree and continue. Come down here. So I don't think most of these things don't matter because I don't do that stuff. All right. So here I'm just gonna do some more changing of our welcome screen and things. So I'll pause again. All right, we have hopefully finished everything. Notice that there are welcome screens and then mobile welcome screens. So you'll need to handle both of those. And I'll remind you that there are some examples for how to add various things. So for like a new line, so I added that into my consent, so it looks like I want it to look like. And now I'm ready to download what I have sent. Again, right, I'm going to just do language, and then I'm going to save it.